Hello everybody. I would like to just start off by saying thank you to all of our friends and family that I see out there today to help us celebrate, remember, and honor our loving four-legged friend, Millie Grace. Now, Millie was an English Springer Spaniel, but she wasn't like the typical dog that you would think of. She was the small runt of the litter, but when my dad went to go pick out the puppy that he thought would help start their family, he just saw something in her that thought, man, this would be the most ideal dog for our family. They brought her home, they sent her to puppy school, and unfortunately she didn't do too well and got sent back. But about a year later, I came along, and you can imagine what it was like to have a 1-year-old rambunctious, energetic puppy and a newborn baby, but it was a task that my parents were willing to take on. Now, Millie was one of the most trustworthy, loving, and loyal dogs that I could ever think of. When I was just learning how to walk, one of my most distinct memories was when Millie had her long, fluffy, curly-haired ears that went right past her shoulder. I looked at them and I just thought, man, that is the most perfect thing to help me get my balance. So when I was first getting on my feet, I would grab both of Millie's ears and I would pull tight and I would hoist myself up and go back to running around and playing around the house. But Millie always stayed calm, cool, collected, and was never vicious, nor was she ever violent towards anybody in our family. But Millie was not one to stay close to the house. If you opened the front door, Millie took off like a bullet towards the closest body of water she could find. Whether that was a puddle, a lake, a pond, just a patch of mud in the grass, she would go for it, and she would just make our lives just a little bit more difficult by having to give her a bath at the end of the day, but it was all worth it in the long run for us. She traveled extremely well, and our families were the type of families that took road trips for long hours and periods of time, but she was one of the best travel companions you could ever think of having. One of the ideal shotgun riders, very patient. She was always there for us when we needed her. We've gone through some heartbreaks in our family, but Millie always knew when you needed a shoulder to cry on and would just lay in your lap, the most calm and loving dog you could ever think of. And even though Millie is no longer here with us on earth, she will always remain in our hearts, and we will always find ways to remember her and talk about her and just think of all the good times we had with her. Thank you guys for coming, and it means a lot to me.